People in the central US grow up hearing the old stories. Skinwalkers, witches that wear flesh and stalk at night. I never took them seriously. I was raised in the southern Rockies, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and the wilderness has been my church. I'm Dakota 26. I've guided people, taught survival, climbed and hiked for most of my life. I know the land. I know how animals behave. I know how to listen. Last Friday, I went out alone to clear my head. It was nothing fancy, just me, my kit, and Bear, my German Shepherd. Bear's my lookout and my family. I told a couple people where I was headed, loaded the four-wheeler, and drove until the dusty road ran out and the cliffs closed in. We parked, shouldered packs, and followed a narrow trail that cut through rock and scrub. At one point the trail squeezed into a crevice, tight enough I had to strip my pack and wriggle through by hand. Bear slipped through easily and waited with that calm. Confused look dogs get when humans struggle with something simple. When I stepped into the wide bowl beyond the rocks, I froze. The cliff faces were covered, not by graffiti, but by ancient pictographs and carvings. Some were familiar, the kind you see at native sites, but many were new to me. One giant image near the cave mouth stopped me cold. A tall figure on two legs, a long narrow body, antlers like a stag, and a head that read halfway animal, halfway man. I told myself I should have brought a camera. Instead, I left my pack and pushed deeper, eager and a little foolish. The cave mouth opened into another drop, a yawning dark shaft that my flashlight barely touched. I noted it for morning and set camp near the entrance. Bear curled by my hip as I made a small fire, ate a quick meal, and slid into my sleeping bag. The sky pinched between the cliff tops revealed an incredible scattering of stars. For a while, everything was as it should be. Wind, wood. The small, satisfied rumble of a dog at about 3 a.m. Bear nudged me awake. He wasn't moving toward me for warmth. He was flattened at my side, teeth bared low, hackles up, eyes locked on the cave's throat. His low growl vibrated in his chest, an old sound he saves for real threats. I thumbed on my flashlight, rolled off the sleeping bag, and unshouldered my sidearm. Call it overkill. I'd rather have something that stops a bear than nothing. But that night, it felt exactly right. We waited. For a long time, there was only the pop of dying embers and the tiny breath of the night. Then, beneath the rocks, something moved, a scraping, a clacking sound like stone on stone and the slow, awful rhythm of something pulling itself along. And then a noise I will never be able to render perfectly in words, part bleating goat, part wildcat yowl, impossible and wrong when threaded into language. When the light hit it, my brain betrayed me. Fingers long rotten black clawed, hooked over the lip of the cave. Whatever held them hauled itself up. 6 feet of wrongness unfolded into view. It walked like a man and limped like a deer. Legs were long and thin, ending not in paws but in small black hooves that barely touched the ground. The torso was animal and human, a cavity of ribs with shredded flesh and patches of matted fur. Antlers arced from a head that was neither stag nor man, and its face was a study in malformation. A human jaw tugged into an animal snout, empty sockets where eyes should be, and a mouth that seemed to be trying to form words. When it turned and fixed whatever passed for its gaze on me, I felt the world narrow to a single, frozen moment. It tilted its head, and you could have sworn, in some cracked language of breath and scrape. It said, "Let me help you." The sound was honeyed and hungry and wrong. I came out of the stupor with emotion. I didn't know I had. I rolled, snapped the safety off, and fired. Point blank. The beast shuddered and reeled, but it didn't fall like a normal animal. It skittered sideways, an illusion folding around it. And then one step later, it was there again, closer, jerking with the agony of being hit and with something like triumph. I fired until the magazine clicked empty. The beast moved in sudden spasms, claws scraping the rock. Bear screamed and bolted. There are parts of that next minute that blur into instinct. The smell, a rancid rot that sat in the throat, the staccato bark and my own footfalls, the taste of copper in the air. I remember a hot breath on the back of my neck, a whisper that felt like rusted wire. So close, then the sun hit the rim. The thing slumped back, not dead, just gone like smoke. We ran. I don't know how we found the four-wheeler. I don't remember packing up. The world snapped forward and we were in the cab, engines whining, gravel throwing sparks as I floored away from that canyon. We made it home shaken and unharmed. No blood on me. No bites on Bear, but something followed into my sleep that night. The memory of that face, the voice, and the knowledge that what I'd shot at didn't obey the rules, I know. It shouldn't have walked like that. It shouldn't have said anything at all. If you ever find a cave with unknown pictographs, if you see a figure painted with antlers on two legs, don't go inside. If your dog stares and goes still, get out. I'm telling you this because I heard the stories and I laughed. I don't laugh anymore. If there's one thing I want you to keep from this, it's that some old tales are more than fireside nonsense. They're warnings. Please don't test them.